We have been convinced by the world and by tech companies that humans are slow, out of date, and that artificial intelligence is the new final evolutionary upgrade. But if you look at the physics behind this, that is actually backwards, and I will tell you how. These giant tech companies are not creating some new evolutionary machine. They are trying to reverse engineer the most perfect combination of structure and flow in the world. And that combination is you. Humans are the original intelligence. It's called artificial for a reason. It's a fragmented machine trying to copy a living masterpiece. In my opinion, I don't believe it ever will. So sit with me for 10 minutes while we go behind the scenes and look at the actual science of your quantum computer. And when you understand this, you will stop waiting on a system, a machine to upgrade and understand that you are the blueprint and you will never have to look outside of yourself for the information that you already have in the perfect system that you already run. To understand how your internal technology works, you have to look at what science calls the extracellular matrix. It is the ultimate unified hardware and software system in existence, and you have it. Most people think that fascia is just some organic web in our system, but fascia is the structure of our extracellular matrix, and it is a body of organic liquid crystals, and that is important. In physics, a crystal is not just a shiny gemstone at a store. A crystal is actually a form of geometry. It is a lattice structure. It's highly organized, highly symmetrical, and structured. Now, your fascia is a crystalline lattice as well. It is a highly organized structure in your body. It acts as your structural antenna. If we know anything about crystals and polygons in the first rigid structure, we know that triangles are the only rigid polygon. If you add a node to a triangle, you get a square, and you can move a square, you can bend a square, you can turn it into a diamond. It's malleable. But if you try to bend or break a triangle, it'll break, right? It is a rigid structure. Now, if we look at AI, we know that they use a rigid, tense crystal lattice called silicone. And silicone, under any pressure, will break, it will fracture like any other rigid system. So, if I said that we have crystal structure too, we might be wondering, why aren't we bending and breaking just how everything else is, right? And that is where tense integrity comes in. It is tensional integrity. This is the bottleneck. This is where AI is trying to get, because we allow flexible geometry. We can move, we can process energy, we can get loads of tension without breaking. Any crystal structure is supposed to break. Any rigid structure is supposed to break. It's not supposed to bend or be malleable, but we defy those laws. You are structurally designed to handle dynamic flow, while in Silicon Valley, in AI, they are kind of stuck on the rigid side. They are stuck in rigidity. They are looking for the flow that we have. They're looking for the dynamic system of hardware and software that humans have innately. The extracellular matrix does not just give you shape, it is also a self generating battery. Humans are free energy. A battery's entire job is to separate positive and negative charge, and that creates a pressure called voltage. So when water hits your fascia, it does the same thing. It goes through charge separation. And the negative charge is stored one spot and the positive charge is stored in another spot. That creates a physical magnetic structure around you. Your biological battery is charged by infrared light, so the sun, your internal heat, and your environmental factors. You don't need to be plugged in. You don't need to buy energy. You don't need to spend billions of dollars, and you don't need to spend billions of more to cool down. Because your fascia is wrapped in this water, information flows with zero resistance and zero distortion. If you think about the game telephone, right? Think about telephone. When we play a telephone, it's like you tell somebody something and then you drag it down the line. But in that game, The whole point of it is introducing distortion. People hear differently and they speak differently, and that causes a different output. And that is what AI is playing. They have a different place for a processor, different place for memory, and they have to go fetch every place. They're allowing distortion. But because the fascia and the water are connected, it's one unified system. It's not like you're going between person and person. One signal, it's like the end is the beginning. That is exactly how it is in the unified system. You don't introduce distortion. You don't have distortion. You don't have the back and forth. You don't create the resistance and the friction that it takes for distant communication. The communication is instantaneous. It happens, and it happens in the end result as well. Happens one hit to your fascia, the information is sent in light speed because it is a flow. It's flowing. This is called Grothaus proton conduction. There are no errors, there is no friction. The information flashes through your fascia and through your system at the speed of light. And because your fascia surrounds every single one of your 37 trillion cells, it is a unified system. This is important because your processing and your memory aren't separate. So everything happens at once. You are the quantum computer. You don't have to go and fetch and then bring it back and then compute again. It all happens at the same time, instantaneously, because your field is unified and it is not separate. In quantum mechanics, when two particles are completely unified across a system, they send information instantaneously. It's not a back and forth. So when something happens one place, it is mirrored in the next place as well. You don't have to go through the back and forth communicating, introducing friction and distortion. This is your extracellular matrix. It acts the same as a quantum computer, quantum entanglement, whatever you want to say. It's because this is a unified system. A shift in pressure, energetic frequency, you stub your toe, anything like that is automatically registered through your whole body. You feel it in your foot, but at the same time, your brain is registering this feeling as well. No matter what the feeling is, this is just simply showing you that your body experiences quantum entanglement. Now, if we look at AI, this is where the biggest issue comes in because, like I said, for quantum entanglement to happen, an instantaneous transfer to happen, it has to be a unified system. Artificial intelligence is built on fragmentation, meaning that everything is separate trying to be unified. You are already unified, but you were taught to be fragmented. It's easy for you to go back to unification because you were unified. For something that is fragmented, trying to build unity, that's not that easy. Like I said, their memory and their processors being separate will not allow the ease of transfer of information. That's why they need these big data centers. That's why they need all this water because they introduce friction because they are built on fragmentation. They are burning down the planet's resources trying to calculate unity, a unity that you already have. You are not looking up to AI. AI is a flat mechanical machine trying to learn how to be like you when they never will. So the real goodies, if we're walking around as a quantum computer that takes less than 20 watts to operate, why aren't we experiencing the benefits from it? Well, we've been taught to be fragmented all of our lives. We've been taught to run away from our emotions, to be logical, when in fact, being logical is the end result. Logic is only configured after the signal was sent. Your body processes signal first, sends it to your mind, then your mind tries to create a story. We have been taught to be logical, ignore our emotions, don't pay attention to our body because they understand if we understand the importance and we understand how to work this system, we won't need anything external of the system. When we introduce stress and we live in constant fear and tension, we put resistance in our fascia. And resistance in our fascia does not allow information to travel and does not allow our systems to quantum compute. Tech companies will forever and ever continue to build and try to mimic you. You are the original blueprint. All you need to do is figure out how your system works, learn your system, and let the system quantum compute as it already does. You have to be the master operator.